My paycheck was maxed out before I even got it. I'd been eating instant noodles for half a month. When payday finally arrived, I was anxiously waiting for that deposit notification. Just get here already. I was dying to have a real meal. I couldn't look at another pack of ramen. Ding, my phone buzzed, but the screen read, payroll deposit, $0. I stormed over to accounting to ask what was going on and they handed me a debt notice. It said I owed the company $108,000. The finance supervisor said the payroll had been personally approved by Mr. Thornton himself and there were no mistakes. It hit me immediately. Last week in a meeting I publicly shot down Mr. Thornton's proposal. This had to be payback. Seeing the smirks on my coworkers' faces, I pulled out my phone and transferred the money. Fine. If I was being fined, I'd take it. Not only would I pay up, I'd make sure he paid for what he did, and I'd do it by the book. But Chad Thornton just stood there, stunned. Walking out of the accounting office, several of Chad's lacogs threw me looks of pure glee.
Look at him, he's totally screwed. Of all people to piss off, he had to pick Mr. Thornton. 100 grand, that's no joke. He's probably getting fired after this.
Without changing my expression, I folded that debt notice in half, then again, and tucked it into my pocket. Then I walked to the end of the hallway, to the corner office, the VP's office. The door was slightly ajar, and through it came Chad Thornton's self-assured voice.
Tell them to revise that new project proposal again. I don't want to see a single typo.
I pushed the door open and walked right in. He didn't look surprised to see me at all.
Evan.
He asked like he didn't know why I was there, his tone dripping with smug condescension.
Something I can help you with.
Without a word, I pulled the crumpled paper from my pocket, smoothed it out, and laid it in front of him. Minus $108,000. Chad's eyes skimmed the paper, and the corner of his mouth curled into a smirk.
Oh, so that's what this is about.
He picked it up and gave it a theatrical once-over.
Evan, this company has rules and regulations. Every kingdom has its laws, every household its codes. No order without rules, right? He slapped the paper back on the desk and leaned forward.
Your behavior has seriously damaged team morale and corporate standards. Your desk is a mess. You don't push your chair in. Where's your sense of professional image as a member of Dragon Halhotings?
And during the meeting, you misspelled my name. That's the most basic form of disrespect towards superior.
Since this is your first offense and you clearly don't fully grasp the rules yet, I only gave you a financial penalty instead of firing you outright. That's me being lenient.
Seeing his smug face and the crowd of coworkers gathered outside to goke, I spoke calmly. 108,000, right? He nodded blankly, like he hadn't seen that coming. I'll accept the penalty. And I'll file an appeal according to company policy. I tapped on my phone screen, entered the company account, and keyed in the amount, 108,000. Tap. Confirm. Fingerprint authorization. The payment notification chained from the finance supervisor's work phone out in the hall. The entire office went dead silent. Chad's mouth hung slightly open. His expression shifted from smug to shocked to utterly bewildered and finally went completely blank. He'd imagined how I might react, but this never crossed his mind. I planted both hands on his desk. Mr. Thornton, I followed the rules, and I will exercise my right to appeal which the company gave me. With that, I straightened up and walked out without another glance his way. I turned and left.
The moment I stepped out, I heard him mutter under his breath, sneering, poser. He probably drained his savings just to act tough, borrowing swagger on an empty wallet. Let's see how long he can keep this up.
I paused at the door. My expression didn't change. I didn't go back to my desk. Instead, I headed straight to the rooftop and pulled out my other phone.
Young master.
On the other end came a cool, efficient female voice. That was Cassie Vance, my real chief of staff, and one of the future core executives of Clark Group. It's me. Send me that file on Chad Thornton.
Received it 5 minutes ago, young master.
I need profiles on 5 companies.
What kind?
Companies that look clean on paper but have serious operational and debt issues underneath. Complex corporate structures. Hidden debt problems. The next day, I clocked in as usual. The atmosphere at the office felt different. The people who'd laughed at me yesterday now looked at me with a mix of curiosity and caution. I couldn't be bothered by their stares. I headed straight for the break room. I just filled my cup halfway when a snide voice came from behind me.
Well, well, if it isn't Evan Clark.
What's the matter? That 100 grand yesterday blew your whole monthly budget? Gotta skip lunch today to save up?
Thanks for your concern, Mr. Thornton. I have my arrangements.
Keep pretending. Go ahead. I checked. That card you used, just a regular debit card. That move yesterday must have taken a big chunk of your savings, huh? You think that made you look impressive? Let me tell you something. In my book, You're just a rigid fool who doesn't know how to play the game. A dumbass who'd bankrupt himself just to save face. I'm telling you, Evan, this isn't over. You make my life difficult, I'll make sure you don't last a week at Dragon Holdings. You don't believe me? Next month's performance review is going to be real interesting for you.
Mr. Thornton, I respect any company policy that follows the rules.
Just then, the special phone in my pocket rang. Chad glanced at it and his sneer deepened.
Still using an old flip phone? Hello?
Am I speaking with Mr. Evan Clark?
Speaking.
Someone recommended you. They said that despite your youth, you have a unique instinct for project risk assessment.
Who's calling?
My name is Peterson. I'm a partner at K Investment Advisor.
K Advisory?
Chad had been about to walk away, but the moment he heard K Advisory, he froze in his tracks. In the industry, K Advisory was known for its rigorous risk assessments and precise target analysis. Chad's breathing grew rapid. The voice on the phone continued.
We've recently been reviewing a batch of investment targets requiring special attention. They involve 5 tech companies with significant underlying risks. The relevant documents show their debt and legal volumes are highly complex. We believe that handling such targets requires an extremely cautious approach and substantial resources.
Sorry, but I think you've got the wrong person.
I'm just a regular employee. This kind of thing. You should be reaching out to someone with decision-making authority.
Wait! You should be reaching out to someone with decision-making authority. Wait! Don't hang up. Mr. Peterson, right? This is Chad Thornton, Vice President of Dragon Holdings. I'm very interested in this opportunity. Those high-risk projects you mentioned? I specialize in those. You've come to the right person.
The voice on the phone went silent for 2 seconds. For Chad, those 2 seconds felt like an eternity.
Mr. Thornton, is it?
Yes, it's me.
If you is in charge, it would naturally be appropriate for you to enter at these targets. You've due to the situation to sing these wisconses. The finks are high, but handled properly, there may be opportunities as well.
Understood. I fully understand your caution, Mr. Peterson. Rest assured, I never let an opportunity slip away.
Very good. My assistant will contact you within 24 hours with detailed due diligence materials and a legal risk summary. Please keep your line open.
A few seconds later, he snapped back to reality.
Evan.
His eyes taking on a smug, almost condescending look.
Lucky you. If it weren't for you, I'd never have gotten access to this insider info.
Don't worry, from now on I'll look out for you around here. Once I've finished evaluating these 5 companies, maybe I'll throw you some scraps.
He looked like he was already counting his profits. And me? I was just a convenient link in his information chain.
Mr. Thornton, evaluate carefully. But with risks this big, you'd better look closely.
He thought I was jealous, just running my mouth.
Ha, that's none of your concern. Some people have vision and guts that you just can't comprehend.
Just focus on your own little job.
Then he stuffed his hands in his pockets, whistled, and swaggered off. Chad didn't show up in the office all afternoon. I heard he locked himself in the conference room, making non-stop calls and poring over documents. His excitement was visible even through the frosted glass. Just before quitting time, the general manager's door burst open.
Where's Chad Thornton?
Mr. Walsh looked displeased. A manager nervously pointed toward the conference room.
Chad, why weren't you at the district meeting this afternoon? And where's the report for the West Side project?
Mr. Walsh, that meeting wasn't important. The West Side project, just put it on hold for now.
Everyone was stunned. How dare Chad talk to Mr. Walsh like that?
Say that again? I said the West Side project has too slow a return. I've got more important things to deal with right now. Chad, what kind of attitude is that? Attitude? Mr. Walsh, times have changed. Sticking to old projects is a dead end. I'm going after new opportunities. That by-the-book mindset of yours, it's time for an upgrade.
He turned and headed toward the elevator without looking back, leaving the entire office stunned, and the general manager red with rage.
What's up with Chad? What's going on?
5 companies? What opportunity?
I passed the break room today. I think I heard something about an investment advisory firm reaching out to Evan. And Chad stole it?
What's the deal with Evan anyway? Does he know someone important?
My phone buzzed softly in my pocket. I pulled it out, a message from Cassie.
Young Master, the full equity structures, legal risk summaries, and creditor lists for all 5 companies have been delivered to Chad Thornton via secure channels. Our legal and risk control teams presented the over 200 million potential debt risks in the most professional format possible. If he reads carefully, he'll understand what taking this on really means. Someone blinded by opportunity and overconfidence usually only sees what he wants to see. Besides, our contact has already reached out to him as planned. Tell him this. The materials are limited. K Advisory only provides risk warnings. Whether to proceed is Mr. Thornton's own decision. Given the sensitivity of these targets, please provide preliminary interest by end of day today. After that, it will be considered a pass.
I could almost picture Chad's greedy face, desperate to seize the chance. He responded already.
Almost immediately, he responded with strong interest and asked for next steps. He skimmed the risk warnings and signed the acknowledgement without a second thought.
Good.
There's a small hiccup. One of the companies, Blue Ocean Tech, had a supplier payment of $300,000 due yesterday. The supplier couldn't reach the original legal libertable, so they looked up public info and called Chad Thornton directly. From what we gathered, Chad got annoyed at first, then impatient. He immediately called our contact to ask about it.
What did our contact tell him?
Verdal, Mr. Thornton, Item 7 on page 3 of the risk section already flagged this contingent liability. How to handle it is your assessment to make as the potential acquirer. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Then our contact added, real opportunities always come with problems that need solving. Your ability to handle those problems is exactly what separates the players from the pretenders.
I see.
This payment, decide how you want to handle it, clean it up, and you prove you've got what it takes for complex deals.
He bought it?
Yes, he did.
Mm-hmm.
And to accelerate his decision, right after he hung up, while he was hesitating, I had another channel reach out. They contacted him under the guise of a third-party bridge fund, offering a small short-term credit line.
The cover story, working capital for preliminary project operations. He probably sees this as part of the test now.
Most likely, he paid that $300,000 supplier debt right away, then called our contact back all excited, saying he was ready for the challenge.
Now, let the risks surface on their own. I ended the call with Cassie. I went back to my desk, opened my laptop like nothing had happened, and got on with the rest of my work. Most of my coworkers had already left. The next day, the office atmosphere was unusual again. The rumor about Chad Thornton possibly landing a huge opportunity had been brewing all night. At 10 in the morning, Chad returned. He'd changed, a brand new suit, and on his wrist, an expensive-looking watch. He was no longer that conniving, gloomy VP. Now he was Chad Thornton, the man of the hour, convinced he'd seized his destiny. Behind him were 2 men acting like assistants, carrying documents for him. He soaked it up, slowly surveying the entire office. Finally, his gaze landed on me.
Evan, I left in a hurry yesterday, forgot to say thank you. Thank me for what? Thank you. If it weren't for you being the middleman, how would I have gotten asked to such core intel? They made it, or someone at your level could never handle an opportunity like this. But me? I'm the partner they recognize, and I have to thank you for confirming my judgment. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity lands in your lap, and you just shrug? Pathetic. You stay right here. Take your time being a regular employee. Oh, and one more thing. From now on, you just focus on your work and don't mess up. With the status I'm about to have, my voice carries some weight around here.
My coworkers looked at me with complicated expressions. I just looked at him silently, and then, his phone started buzzing violently in his pocket. Chad pulled it out with an annoyed frown, glanced at the caller ID, and his brow furrowed.
Hello? Who's this? I'm busy.
Am I speaking with Mr. Chad Thornton? This is the credit department at East Asia Bank's head office. A commercial loan of $5 million associated with your company became overdue yesterday. Please resolve this promptly, or we will proceed with appropriate measures according to protocol.
What? $5 million? What loan? You've got the wrong person.
Mr. Thornton, our records show you are closely associated with the borrowing entity. Your information appears in the guarantee documents. Please verify, and please resolve this promptly.
The line went dead. Everyone froze, staring at Chad. Sweat broke out on Chad's forehead.
Small problem. It's a problem that comes with your opportunity. The opportunity. Gotta deal with it.
He muttered to himself, then fumbled to call the K Advisory contact.
Why is there a $5 million overdue? What? This is a historical issue with the target itself? The acquirer has to resolve it themselves? I need to move funds? Prove my capability? This is the key step to earning their trust? I get it. I'll handle it right away.
The tone in the conference room shifted from anxious to convinced to determined. I picked up my water cup and took a sip. Cassie's team had perfect timing. An hour later, the conference room door opened. Chad stepped out. His face was pale, but his eyes held a reckless excitement. He'd already scrambled every dollar he could move.
Evan, you see that? That's guts. You solve problems. You earn trust. A coward like you would never understand.
I looked at him, then slowly pulled out my own phone. Next phase.
Really? Well then good luck solving your problems.
The words had barely left my mouth. Chad's phone started buzzing wildly again. Another unknown number. He answered.
Hello, Mr. Thornton. Regarding the $12 million owed to us by your associated party, per the contract, today is...
Before he could even respond, another call came in. He panicked, hung up on the first, and answered the second.
Mr. Tharrington, this is Yonda Construction. Please address the $30 million in project payments immediately.
A third.
Chad, the $8 million loan you guaranteed. Pay it back now.
A fourth. A fifth. The collection calls kept coming, one after another, overwhelming him.
12 million? 30 million? 8 million? And there's more. No, that's impossible.
You've all got it wrong! I'm not the actual controller, I'm just Evaluator K Advisor's targets!
He shouted at the phone. A calm voice came from the other end.
Mr. Thornton, based on the documentation we have, you have signed a risk acknowledgement and expressed strong acquisition interest, which legally constitutes a significant association. The 5 companies you're interested in have a total debt exceeding $200 million. Please face reality.
The light went out of Chad's eyes.
200 million.
He looked like a marionette with its strings cut. He slumped to the floor, boneless. The entire office went completely silent. I met their gazes, my expression still calm. The 2 men he brought were now standing awkwardly to the side.
Mr. Thornton, are you okay? What should we do next?
Chad didn't respond. The other frowned and muttered.
Mr. Thornton, what about our consulting fee?
That sentence seemed to jolt Chad.
Get away from me!
His eyes bloodshot.
All of you, get lost!
Their faces fell into disappointment and understanding.
So after all that, he's just a fake.
One of them muttered under his breath and turned and walked away. The other followed close behind. Chad was gasping for breath as he fumbled on the floor for his phone. He was going to call K Advisory and demand answers. I took a step and walked slowly toward him. Before he could dial, I gently took the phone from his hand. He tried to grab it back, but he had no strength left. I swiped open the screen and found the number for the K Advisory contact he'd been calling. In front of everyone, I hit dial and put it on the speaker.
Hello, Mr. Thornton. How may I assist you?
The phone rang only twice before someone picked up. A calm, professional, somewhat familiar female voice came through. Everyone in the office held their breath. The last flicker of hope ignited in Chad's eyes.
Not me, it's Evan. He's holding my phone. Tell him you provided the information. This is all normal business risk, right?
On the other end, silence. 2 seconds. Then the female voice returned, with a professionally detached tone.
Mr. Thornton, the person you mentioned, Mr. Evan Clark, we do not know him. K Advisor provides risk analysis solely on public and limited information. We do not participate in any transaction decisions. Yesterday, we provided you with a complete disclosure of all known material risks, and we received your acknowledgement stating you had read and understood them, and would voluntarily proceed. All subsequent legal and financial liability must be borne by you alone.
The last trace of color drained from Chad's face. This is Evan Clark. I took the phone and spoke into it, my tone indifferent. The voice on the other end paused for a fraction of a second, then became even more formal and distinct.
Mr. Clark. Hello. Regarding the matter you mentioned concerning Mr. Thornton, our firm confirms that we have fulfilled our obligation to provide risk warnings. All communications have been recorded and archived. This matter is unrelated to any further services from our firm.
Very good. I looked down at the broken man on the floor. Also, please pass along a message to him.
Go ahead, Mr. Clark.
Tell him the problems with these 5 companies are the consequences of his own impatience and disregard for risk. Business is a battlefield, the prudent survive.
Mr. Thornton, did you hear that? The debt crisis with these 5 companies is the result of your own failure to evaluate carefully based on limited information. Please handle it properly, in according to laws and regulations.
With that, the call ended. The office was dead silent. Chad finally found his voice again.
It's you. It was you, Evan. You fed me that information. You knew it was a trap all along.
Then I locked eyes with Chad Thornton. Last Wednesday, in the project meeting I shot down your proposal, you held a grudge. Last Friday you had HR write me up trying to force me out. Yesterday, you hit me with a $108,000 penalty. And just now, right here, you were mocking me as a regular employee who doesn't understand opportunity. I accepted the penalty, it was within the rules. But I will also respond to injustice through proper channels. You like using power to crush people, don't you? You think everyone else is beneath you? I just showed you what happens when you ignore the rules and rush in blind.
Who the hell are you?
Who I am doesn't matter. What matters is this: in the workplace, respecting the rules and doing solid work, that's what counts. As soon as the words fell, General Manager walked in.
Evan? What's going on here?
Mr. Walsh spotted Chad slumped on the floor and then me, calm as ever. His face was full of confusion.
Evan? What's going on here?
Before I could answer, Chad on the floor grabbed at him like a lifeline, his voice shrill.
Mr. Walsh! It's Evan! He set me up! He fed me fake information and stuck me with massive debt! Call the police! Call them now!
Mr. Walsh was caught off guard, shocked and confused by Chad's state.
What are you raving about? What massive debt? Get up and talk properly. He tried to pull Chad to his feet, but couldn't budge him. The surrounding callworks stayed silent. Mr. Walsh's gaze finally settled on me.
Evan, you explain.
I met his eyes. Mr. Walsh, it's not complicated. Mr. Thornton came across some investment information. He jumped in without proper due diligence, and now he's facing serious debt issues. This has nothing to do with me. I merely received a consulting call in the break room yesterday. Mr. Thornton inserted himself voluntarily. All risk disclosure documents were signed and acknowledged by him personally.
Nothing to do with you? A consulting call? Evan, regardless, getting mixed up in something like this at the office?
Because I pulled out my phone, brought up a photo, and held it in front of him. In the photo, I was standing next to another middle-aged man at an industry summit. Mr. Walsh recognized the man, Harrison Clark, chairman of Clark Group. Clark Group might have kept a low profile, but its power and reputation in the industry were undeniable. Dragon Hardings had long wanted to establish a connection with Clark Group. Mr. Walsh's pupils dilated sharply the moment he saw the photo. The anger and confusion on his face were instantly replaced by shock.
He looked at the photo, then at me. Mr. C. Clark? The legendary heir to Clark Group. Was this low-key Evan Clark standing before him? Mr. Walsh finally understood. Chad Thornton hadn't messed up some random employee.
I put my phone away and said calmly, Mr. Walsh, my father always taught me that the workplace is for getting things done, not for playing power games. There are some attitudes at Dragon Holdings that need cleaning up.
Sweat broke out on Mr. Walsh's forehead.
Yes, Mr. Clark, you're absolutely right.
He finally pieced it all together. Why Chad had fallen. Why I'd been so calm all along. Chad Thornton's behavior is a serious violation of company policy and professional ethics. I will deal with him immediately and severely. Security. Get him out of here. The company will immediately launch an audit and investigation into his conduct. All related wrongful penalties are hereby rescinded. Effectors immediately.
2 security guards came in, hoisted up the daisy and broken Chad, and carried him out of the office. His brand new watch struck the door rail as he struggled, and its crystal cracked. The office fell quiet again. Mr. Walsh stood to the side, respectfully. The other coworkers dared not even breathe. I walked slowly back to my desk. The manager in charge had already cleared away the shredded remains of the penalty notice, and was wiping down my desk. I sat down and opened my laptop. As if the storm just now had been nothing but a minor interruption. I sent Cassie one final message: wrap it up, handle it legally and by the book. Then I opened the unfinished project report, and kept working. Outside the window the sunlight was bright and warm. The air in the office was still thick and heavy. The sound of my keyboard clicking was unusually clear in the silence. Mr. Walsh stood there for a few seconds, then finally snapped out of it. He waved at the stunned crowd and said in a low voice,
"Everyone, get back to work."
His tone was firm, and carried a hint of barely concealed embarrassment. The crowd seemed to snap out of a trance, quickly and quietly dispersing back to their desks. No one dared to look in my direction. I could feel the sidelong glances, furtive, curious, and tinged with fear. Mr. Walsh blinked, then it dawned on him. A look of both admiration and relief crossed his face.
Mr. Clark, what happened today? It's my failure as a manager. I let you be wronged.
I stopped typing and turned to look at him.
Mr. Walsh, it's already been handled.
My tone was flat, revealing nothing.
Yes. Rest assured, the company will deal with Chad Thornton severely. No leniency.
All those wrongful penalties he issued through authority rescinded immediately. The records will be wiped clean. Your salary and compensation finance will expedite it.
Just follow company policy.
Of course. But regarding your identity, do
Do you need me to?
No. I was Evan Clark before, I'll be Evan Clark after. My job description hasn't changed.
Mr. Walsh blinked, and it dawned on him. A look of both admiration and relief crossed his face.
Understood. Mr. Clark, Evan, don't worry. I completely understand, and I absolutely respect your wishes.
He straightened up, shot a stern look at the managers who were still sneaking glances this way, then walked quickly back to his own office and gently closed the door. I continued working on that report, as if the earth-shattering storm just now had been nothing more than a light breeze. But I knew, a lot of things had changed from this moment on. The rest of the afternoon passed in an unnaturally calm silence. No one discussed what had happened. No one whispered. Even normal work conversations became hushed and tentative. Occasionally, a coworker who needed to coordinate with me would approach with exceptional deference, choosing their words as carefully as if facing an audit from a superior. I just responded as usual, confirmed what needed confirmed, signed what needed signing. Just before quitting time, my private phone buzzed. It was Cassie. Young master, wrap-up in progress. Contacted relevant creditors. Internally at Dragon Hidings, Mr. Walsh has launched a full audit of Chad and his associates. I read it and didn't reply. This was just procedural cleanup. The real ending had been sealed the moment Chad grabbed that phone from me. The end-of-day bell rang. I shut down my computer, tidied my desk and grabbed my jacket. The moment I stood up I could feel the eyes of the entire office gathering on me, faint but unmistakable. I kept my gaze straight ahead and walked to the elevator. Just as the elevator doors closed I heard faint sounds of relief from outside, followed by hushed fidget murmurs.
Oh my god, I've been holding my breath all day. He really is that Clark. What else could it be? You saw Mr. Walsh's attitude. Chad kicked the titanium bomb. What are we supposed to do now?
The elevator descended, the numbers ticked down. I looked at my reflection in the polished door, my expressions utterly calm. I walked out of the building. The setting sun had painted the sky warm gold.
The familiar black sedan pulled up silently by the curb, not the one that usually picked me up. The window rolled down. The driver was a stranger in a well-fitted suit. He gave me a slight nod.
Young master, your father sent me to pick you up.
I paused for a moment, then opened the door and got in the back seat. The car had a faint scent of sandalwood, the smell of my father's studies. The car didn't head towards my apartment, it went east, toward Clark Group headquarters, and the Clark family home. I didn't ask why. What's meant to come, will come. The car drove into a quiet, garden-style estate and stopped in front of the main building. The butler was already waiting at the door and opened it for me.
Young master, your father is waiting for you in the study.
I nodded and walked inside, through the high-ceilinged hall, up the spiral staircase, to the heavy mahogany door of the study.
I knocked. Come in.
My father's voice, steady, unreadable. I pushed the door open and entered. My father, Harrison Clark, stood before the massive floor-to-ceiling window, his back to me, looking out at the fading twilight. His posture straight and understanding. He carried the authority of someone who'd long been atop. Only a single reading lamp was on in the studio, casting a dim yellow light that stretched his shadow long across the floor. Dad, I said. He turned around, his gaze landed on me, assessing. For a long moment he didn't speak. The study was so quiet you could hear the tick-tock of the antique grandfather clock.
What happened today? His voice low, but weighty. I stood there and didn't respond. The approach was clean, good control of the timing. He walked behind his massive desk and sat down, his fingers drumming absently on the surface. You used the rules and you kept your stuff in the film plan. That's progress from the South Chinese situation last time. It wasn't praise, just an observation. But his tone shifted, his gaze sharpening. For a nobody like that, was it worth spending these kinds of resources?
I met his eyes. Yes.
Oh?
He didn't just break rules, he crossed a line, using power punish arbitrarily to frame people, to take away what either fully earned. If this were just one case maybe it wouldn't, but it represents a culture, an unspoken workplace rule that too many people think is normal. I think it's necessary to show some people that this kind of rule comes with a price they can't afford.
Price. You've sackled him with debt he may never climb out of for the rest of his life.
The debt was always there, I just put the documents in front of him. He chose to ignore the risks and greedily swallow the opportunity. All I gave him were choices, and he chose the greediest path.
Something that looked almost like a for approvals lit across my father's face, but it was gone in an instant. He pressed on. How do you plan to wrap things up at Dragon Holdings?
Do the work I'm supposed to do, I said. I went there to learn proj operations, not to flaunt my status. This thing is over, let it be over.
Derek Walsh just called me, his tone giving way nothing. Very humble posture, expressed deep apologies. Said he'd thoroughly clean up internal issues. He hopes this won't affect the future cooperation between our two groups.
That's a business decision, I said. I won't let personal feelings get in the way.
Your mother is worried about you. She thinks you've been wronged out there.
I'm fine. Tell her not to worry. Next week is your grandfather's birthday. The family will have a small dinner. Be there on time.
Okay.
The conversation seemed to have reached its end. I turned to leave. Evan, my father called out again. I stopped.
Remember, the method you used today, effective, but risky. Dragging an opponent into the trap of his own desires requires one precondition. You must be absolutely clean yourself, and always stand in the sunlight of the rules. One wrong step, and the hunter and prey can switch places.
I understand.
Go on.
I walked out of the study and gently closed the door behind me. The moment the door clicked shut, I let out a quiet breath. I didn't have to do much socializing.
Look at you. Are you even eating? You've lost weight. Is that a wrinkle I see? Honestly, Evan, you're not a college freshman anymore.
The family dinner was more relaxed than I'd expected. Grandfather was in good spirits.
Young man, going through things isn't a bad thing. Have a ruler in your heart and act with measure. That's enough.
After dinner, I went back to my apartment. Life seemed to return to a surface-level calm. Monday came, and I went to Dragon Holdings as usual. Walking into the office, that unnatural silence was still there, but now it had a veneer of careful normality. My desk had been cleaned spotless, and there was even a small potted plant on it now. Miss Walsh saw me from across the room and nodded from a distance, no more coming up to me deliberately. Work proceeded as usual, but things seemed to get done faster. The usual finger-pointing and delays had increased a lot. Chad's desk was empty. News about him trickled out in bits and pieces. He'd been formally fired. The company was holding him accountable for the losses from his abuse of power. He was tangled in multiple financial and legal disputes. His house and car were seized or frozen. Rumor had it he was on the verge of a breakdown, with nowhere to turn. The break room no longer echoed with snide remarks. My project report sailed through approval, even faster than before. At lunch in the cafeteria, the people who used to sit next to me would instinctively leave an empty seat. Then, on Thursday afternoon, an unexpected person tapped on the profane of my cubicle. It was Sloane Mitchell, the female coworker who'd secretly given me a sympathetic look back when Chad was bullying me.
Evan, I need to verify these numbers with you. Mr. Walsh is in a hurry for them.
Right here. The Q3 growth rate calculation is based on the wrong baseline data. It should use the adjusted figures.
Oh, you're right. I'll fix it right away. Thanks. I'm sorry.
For what?
You know, when Mr. Thornton and the others were doing all that, none of us dared to say anything.
No need to apologize. Just do your own job well. I watched her go. I didn't feel anything special about it. Silence in the workplace is usually not about right or wrong, it's just survival instinct. I could understand it, but that didn't mean it warmed my heart. On Friday, just before the end of the day, I got a formal update call from Cassie.
Young Master, all legal and financial wrap-up procedures are complete. Chad Thornton has reached settlement agreements with some creditors at the cost of all his remaining personal assets. He's expressed his apologies again through channels and conveyed a wish to invite you to dinner in any capacity you're comfortable with.
Decline dinner. Tell him I'm happy to see operational improvements at Dragon Holdings.
Understood. Also, regarding the follow-up on those 5 companies, 2 of them, clear debt structures, have been petitioned for bankruptcy liquidation by their major creditors. For the other 3, after risk assessment and separation, we've acquired the core intellectual property at a low price under the name of third-party capital. It's been transferred to the group's newly established tech incubation hub. I'll send you the evaluation report.
That was an unexpected gain. Cassie was always thinking further ahead than I expected.
One more thing. Your father would like to know if you're interested in participating remotely in some of the due diligence work as a project advisor.
Send me the preliminary project materials.
Will do, young master.
It showed me strategic powers through the fickleness and scenes and the answer to worries and guerrillas of defense. My father was right, a beast always dead in the sunlight. That sunlight doesn't mean there are no shadows. What Troining is understanding where come from and how to handle them. Over the weekend, I got a message from Sloane. She seemed to have mustered her courage. She asked if I'd be willing to join a small coworker dinner. Just a few solid young people from the project team. No one from the old crowd. The dinner was at a regular Sichuan restaurant. The atmosphere was more relaxed than I'd expected. Everyone was a bit stiff at first, but after a few beers, people started opening up.
Evan, thank you for coming tonight.
The food was good. I knew this ordinary feeling was fragile, built on unspoken boundaries between us. But at least, for this night, it was real.
On Monday, I submitted my resignation to Mr. Walsh. Mr. Walsh was very surprised, even a little flustered. Evan, is there something else you're unhappy about? Just say the word, and the company... Mr. Walsh, don't misunderstand. It's a personal career direction change, nothing to do with the company. I learned a lot during my time at Dragon Holdings. Thank you for the opportunity.
My reason was unassailable, my attitude firm. After multiple failed attempts to persuade me to stay, Mr. Walsh finally approved it. He said he'd arrange the best possible severance package and hoped we could work together again in the future. The resignation process went quickly. On my last day, I packed up my personal belongings, really just a notebook and a few pens. Coworkers came by one to say goodbye. Some were sincere, some were sarcastic. All of them offering well wishes, genuine or otherwise. Sloane walked me to the elevator. Her expression was complicated.
Stay in touch.
Okay.
The elevator doors closed, cutting off all those stairs. Walking out of the Dragon Holdings building, the sun was a bit stabbing. I looked back at the towering glass facade. The story here had come to an end. I didn't jump straight into the new project. Instead, I gave myself a short break. I drove to the nearby mountains and stayed at a quiet guest house for a few days. Every day I went hiking, read books, and thought about nothing. Away from the city's noise and office tactics, my nerves slowly unwind. While watching the sunrise from the mountaintop, I got a message from my father.
The preliminary materials for the acquisition project have been sent to you.
No extra words. I sat from sunrise until the sun was fully risen. I opened my email and downloaded a thick, encrypted file. Sitting on a massive boulder at the peak facing the morning breeze, I started reading. Complex equity structures, interwoven debt guarantees, hidden technology patent disputes, and obscure local legal and regulatory clauses. But when you peeled back the fog, the core logic of greed and recklessness, how similar it was. Only this time the stage was bigger, the risks higher. I rubbed my forehead. But underneath it all, a quiet sense of challenge stirred within me. On the drive back down the mountain, Cassie called.
Young master, enjoying your vacation?
It's fine. I've looked at the materials.
Your father's suggestion is that you first complete a preliminary risk assessment report as your entrant assessment, timeframe 1 week.
Plenty of time.
Ross Dryerpulse has another message through an intermediary. He hopes for some indirect guidance or support. Terms are negotiable.
I watched the forest whipping past the car window. Decline it. Clark Group doesn't get involved in these kinds of games. Let him compete on his own merit and compliance. Cassie reported it as a matter of routine.
Miss Lane Mitchell asked HR for your contact information. HR didn't disclose it per your earlier instructions. She seemed somewhat disappointed.
Some encounters are destined only to cross paths, not to stay. The car merged onto the highway. The silhouette of the city appeared faintly ahead. My vacation is over. Back at my apartment, I dove straight into analyzing that acquisition project. The whiteboard in my study was soon covered with intricate relationship diagrams. Different colors represented different risk levels, arrows pointed to hidden traps and potential explosion points. I got lost in it and lost track of time. Until my phone rang, breaking the late-night silence. I answered.
Am I speaking with Evan Clark?
I recognized it instantly. It was Chad Thornton.
I'm finished. Everything's gone. The house, the car, my savings. Nothing left, and I'm drowning in debt.
It was you, wasn't it? You're so cruel. You've ruined my whole
The
life.
risk disclosures were on every page. Legally, you can't pin any of this on me. As for whether I'm cruel,
When you used your authority to hit me with a $108,000 penalty, did you not think you were cruel then?
Chad, where you are today is the result of one choice after another. You walked this path yourself.
I was wrong, Evan, young Master Clark. Please, I'm begging you, let me off the hook. Talk to those creditors for me. Give me a way out. I'll be your slave.
I can't control what the creditors do. The only thing you can do is face reality, deal with the remaining debt according to the law, and then start over.
Start over. Start over.
I set the phone down and walked to the window. The night was deep and the city still blazed with lights. Behind every lit window there were probably different stories of joy and sorrow, struggle and choice. Chad's ending was tragic but not pitiable. It was a lesson in the law of the jungle. Brutal, yes, and I had to keep moving forward.
A week later, I sent that detailed risk assessment report to Casey and the designated project team email. The report didn't just point out the obvious risks, it focused on the underlying personal connections, the chains of interest, and the weak points that could trigger a cascade of problems. The next day, I got a direct call from my father.
I read your report. Accurate entry point, enough analytical depth, especially your extrapolation of potential factor risks, sharper than the first draft from the risk control team. Looks like Dragon Holdings wasn't a waste of time.
That was high praise.
Your mother has found a few young ladies for you, good families, good character. Find some time to
Dad,
meet.
I'm in the
not
middle
asking
of-
you to commit right away. Get to know them. Think of it as making friends. You have a long road ahead. You need the right people by your side. This is family matters and it's long term.
I understand.
Good.
The call ended. I looked at the cover of my own report on the computer screen. A new challenge was about to begin, and life, it seemed, was unfolding new dimensions for me at its own pace.